Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Tuesday, wherever we are around the world. I really have to think about that then. But how are we, chat? Hopefully, everyone's good. Hopefully, everyone's well. And we're here, of course, to talk about Aston Villa v Liverpool. We'll talk, of course, all about the game. Get your guys' thoughts as well in the comments down below. And we'll also, of course, talk about other things in tonight's episode. Obviously, talking a little bit about transfers and talking a little bit, of course, about everything. Obviously, injury news coming out for the press conference earlier, and other bits and pieces as well flying around in the Liverpool news space anyway. But again, let me know how all of you are in the comments down below. Of course, if you are new around here, of course, do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all of that good stuff as well. Anyway, hopefully everyone's all good and all well. Anyway, and of course, let me know your guys' thoughts on Liverpool Villa, because again, the Reds could go 10 points clear at the top of the Premier League, which again, if we could manage that, that'd be great. Of course, obviously, this is a rescheduled game, obviously due to Liverpool being in the Carabao Cup final. Of course, obviously Liverpool would have played Villa on that weekend, but of course, obviously it's now been rescheduled up to now. Of course, obviously Aston Villa wanted the game postponed, which of course made everyone a bit laughed a little bit, because again, Liverpool, I think everybody was kind of like, oh, come on, like Liverpool are going to play and Villa are going to play the game. But it was quite funny, the fact that everyone was kind of like a bit furious with Villa because they wanted the game to be rearranged, because obviously due to their injury problems as well, which again, they do have a few injured players out, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. And I say a few, it is a good handful of their key players that is currently out injured, of course, anyway. But again, let me know how all of you are in the comments down below, of course. But speaking of Villa, and speaking about this man in particular, obviously Marcus Rashford, big up hero as well. You're doing well, mate. But yeah, speaking of Rashford and his last chance, I think it's last chance anyway, at the top level of football, really, because obviously we've known, obviously for some time, obviously the struggles that Marcus Rashford has had at Manchester United in terms of, again, not performing great, not being overall in contention for England, obviously for a big period of time. And obviously, I think throughout the January transfer window, obviously the news that obviously breaking that Ruben Amorim didn't want Marcus Rashford anywhere near the Manchester United team. And of course, him going to Villa, I think, is a huge risk for Villa, because again, look how good that team has been. Obviously, them losing, of course, John Duran is huge. Like them, John Duran, I think, could have easily played for a top Premier League team, going on the future, whether that, of course, that's, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, looking for strikers potentially in the summer window as well. I'm still surprised that Arsenal didn't try and go all out for John Duran, to be fair, in the summer transfer window, no, in the January transfer window, I should say. I did think it was a bit weird, but of course, obviously, when you're dealing with Saudi money and they can, of course, cough out, what was it, 70 odd million pounds, of course, Villa will bite your hand off for that. But of course, then bringing in Rashford has kind of been a lifeline for him in some sense. Obviously, I know he had a very good game against Ipswich last time out for Villa, and I think everybody's kind of gone like, oh, what could Rashford do for Villa? And I think for him as well, I think obviously you look at early years Marcus Rashford, you see the quality that was there at Manchester United, and there was quality there, but he hasn't really developed better. Since he broke through under Jose Mourinho, he never pushed on, like similar like Rooney. Like Rooney broke through at Everton, went to Manchester United and completely went to the top, skyrocketed up to the top. And Rashford never did that, and look, whether that's, of course, the way Manchester United is, because you look at players leaving Manchester United, You've got McTominay in Italy at the minute doing absolutely brilliant for Napoli. Obviously, Anthony being most recent in terms of, again, performance based. Obviously, with him going to Real Sociedad and getting 4 goal involvements in 4 games, and now with Rashford, and I think obviously Unai Emery they'll try and get the best out of them, of course. But I do think this is the last chance saloon really for Marcus Rashford, because I just think if this doesn't work, if Unai Emery looks at him and it doesn't work out too good for him, again, you then have to ask yourself the question, where could he go? And I do think maybe somewhere like in Italy could be a good shout for him. Whether or not, of course, he'd be interested in that, as I absolutely slam my mic. I don't know whether or not if that would be an interest towards him, but I do think in terms of Premier League football, I do think this is a huge last chance saloon for Marcus Rashford. If it works out for him, again, I'd suspect Villa would end up signing him full time. But if it doesn't work out, I think then obviously going back to Manchester United, would anybody pay the money that United is supposedly asking for Marcus Rashford? I don't think anybody's going to, and I definitely don't think anyone's going to pay the what is he on, 350 grand a week wages. Again, nobody's going to cough out that for someone who isn't performing great. And I do think, again, like, of course, obviously if he does perform well at there, again, you do have to say it's a United problem, not a Marcus Rashford problem as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts on Villa and, of course, on Marcus Rashford. Of course, we'll talk more on Villa, of course, as well. But Hero says, always thought Rashford did well. Remember that game when they had 10 players and he had one leg and kept going against us? True, but I think Rashford's been... I think he's been poor for a while. And I say for a while, like I remember, what was it, the 17-18 season when we went to Old Trafford and he absolutely tore Trent Alexander-Arnold a new one, in terms of just battering him, consistently. And that Marcus Rashford was, again, one of these players that you look at like an Mbappe, for example, who has skyrocketed, to what he can become. I think Marcus Rashford, that game showed what he could be, but he's never really become the top level player. I think a lot of people thought he would have been at such a young age as well. So I get 50-50 of it anyway. But he was saying that club is poison. Long may it continue, by the way. Time to get humble, boys, as well. Yeah, no, absolutely. What did Ryan Giggs once say? Manchester United will never fall as low as Liverpool. Well, looking at the league table, Manchester United will finish lower than Liverpool have ever done. Anyway, but you actually look, I know the Athletic, I think, did a report on Ruben Amorim and, of course, and Manchester United. And I think at the moment, the way the form has gone for Man United and Ruben Amorim, if it was over a 38-game season, the current form they are on, they'd be relegated. They wouldn't survive. And that is hilarious to listen to. And realistically, it's not going to change. Man United have no money. They have to sell all of their assets, realistically. Nobody is not for sale at Man United. We're talking about Rashford now. Rashford, I don't think Bruno Fernandes is is untouchable. Kobe Mainoo's another one. Lenny Euro that they've just signed as well. I think if somebody put in probably what they paid for him, I think they end up getting Lenny Euro, if I'm being honest. And of course, you look at obviously with PSR, and obviously that's maintaining throughout the summer. You can guarantee Manchester United are going to try and sell Garnacho as soon as possible. As soon as the season ends, they will ASAP try and get rid of him because they need the money. And I love that. I love the fact that they are struggling. I love the fact that that club is completely falling apart. And again, long may it continue, like we said anyway. But no, speaking more on Aston Villa, and speaking, of course, on obviously they are currently 9th in the Premier League. But again, looking at that league table, literally, what is there? They're on 38 points. They're only, what's that? They're only 5 points off 5th. realistically. So when you actually look at that, it's actually quite competitive, to be fair to them. But again, also looking at their injury list, looking at it now. Again, Pau Torres out injured, Matty Cash out injured, obviously Andre Onana out injured, Babatu Kamara is also out injured as well. So their main two defensive midfielder partnership is out injured as well, which is huge for them. Of course, it looks like they'll most likely play John McGinn and Yuri Tillemans. Of course, Yuri Tillemans has been very, very good, hasn't he, for Villa this season. But again, looking at the doubtful list as well, obviously Konza is also there as well, and of Leon Bailey as well. But again, they're confirmed outs for the game is Pau Torres, Matty Cash, Andre Onana, Barkley, and of course Kamara as well as also injured as well. So when you actually look at that list, Villa have got a pretty weakened team. Looking at their predicted lineup now. Again, obviously Emi Martinez in goal, obviously Disasi, Mings, Tillemans, McGinn, like I said, Asensio as well, Morgan Rogers, Rashford, and Watkins up top for them. To be fair, when you look at that front four, it's quite a decent front four, even though they've got injuries as well. So again, of course, we've got to be careful tomorrow because again, it's a very, very tough game tomorrow. And of course, we talk about Liverpool, going for the title, going for this, going for that. It is a huge week for us, and it is, and I've got it there, in big writing. It's a huge week for Liverpool because, again, we're 7 points clear at the moment of Arsenal. Of course, tomorrow with a win, technically we would be 10 points clear, obviously play the game further. But you do look at that, and of course, obviously, if we was to win against Villa, that kind of does put the pressure off a little bit of Liverpool winning against Man City. Again, it's not, of course, beating Manchester City would be great, but again, it's not necessarily a necessity then compared to if we were to lose or drop points against Villa. You then look at the Man City game and go, look, Liverpool need to win by here because that then, again, doesn't put so much pressure on us. But if we were to beat Villa and Man City this week, that's 2 games down where you look at it and go, yeah, like that Liverpool then, you think then the momentum could take us on further for the title. But especially, obviously, we've got Villa, City, and then Newcastle as well. Like that Newcastle game will be one hell of a tough game. We know this for a fact. Obviously, looking back at last season, look at this season again. The game this season was probably the best game of the season so far, probably in terms of a naturals perspective of Liverpool anyway. And I do think it is very interesting whether or not, we do end up getting, whether or not we do rest players tomorrow. I do think, obviously, against Wolves, it wasn't the cleanest of performances, but I do think we will rotate at some point tomorrow. But who will rotate is another question, of course, anyway. But let me know, of course, your guys' thoughts on this week coming up as well, as my nose is absolutely killing. Oh, apologies. But what we got here? I already read one out. Add that Moyes has been yeah, absolutely, hero. But big up Jonathan. Hi, Con. Thoughts on Civicus starting tomorrow in place of Robbo? Just about minutes. You could see that potentially. I think it'd be very interesting, if I'm being honest. But again, depends on what Arne Slot's going to do. But judging from the season so far, you'd probably look at it and go, he isn't going to rotate, and that might happen. He might not rotate, but I do foresee us maybe swapping 1 or 2 things up because it's City on the weekend as well. But Hero says, can't see us letting this lead slip, to be honest. The amount of games is catching up, but every team has that problem. Yeah, true. I said it to you guys, didn't I? I thought if Liverpool had beat Everton, I thought we'd win the league. Or we have at least one hand on the Premier League trophy, in that sense, or in common sense. I do think if Liverpool get 4 points out of 6, like I've said to you guys all week, I do think that'll be okay. But I also do think as well, like we at the moment are having obviously, every single thing at the minute around Liverpool is getting questioned, or everything is getting looked at in a particular eye. Like, again, the past weekend, obviously, Canate, people going, oh, Ibu should have been sent off, this, that, and the other. I was like, no, he shouldn't have. And I think, obviously, Liverpool, obviously, we do our job. Like, again, like, you look at our home games coming up. If we win all of our home games, Liverpool win the title, and we do. But look at our home games, and they're very tough games. But also, that's including if Arsenal are perfect from now until the end of the season. And they have to be perfect. Like, let's not get this twisted. They've got tough games coming up. They've got West Ham at home. Again, I expect them to beat them. But it's that sense of, as well, Arsenal have to be perfect from now until the end of the season to at least have a chance. And then that includes Liverpool dropping points. That includes Liverpool, again, allowing Arsenal to come back into the conversation. Because if the gap does get to 10 points, and that's without added games or whatever, if it's Liverpool get over 10 points, the league is done. It is done. And Liverpool then will have the momentum for the rest of the season to be able to win the Premier League. They will. Easily they will. And I think, again, this is why this week is so huge, is because if we beat Villa and Manchester City, it's not going to be easy. But if we were to beat them too, again, that I think would put a massive dent in Arsenal's confidence for the title, in my opinion. Anyway, I do believe that. I do think Liverpool will put such a big dent in Arsenal's, again, hopes of winning the title, that again they will lose hope, realistically. And I think Liverpool can do that. I think we can go to Villa tomorrow and beat them. I'd also think that we can go to Man City this season and beat them at the Etihad, even though our record there is horrific, and it has been horrific for some time. But I genuinely do believe this team, when it's mattered, Liverpool have stepped up to the occasion this season. And again, I think we can do it again. I think we can have a really good week. Of course, that might get clipped up and obviously come back to bite me. But still, I think Liverpool will have a good week anyway. But I want to, kind of, we said at the beginning we're going to talk about transfers and speak about, obviously the huge summer ahead for Liverpool. Obviously, reports coming out today talking about Liverpool's future. Obviously, I think it was James Pearce from The Athletic speaking highly on, again, the summer transfer window, speaking in terms of what Liverpool might end up doing. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano as well, adding his thought process to, of course, Liverpool being rumoured to certain players. Obviously, the number one name at the minute that is flying around for Liverpool is Alexander Isak, because of course, Liverpool look like they're going to sell Darwin Núñez in the summer. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano talking about him, about how, the Saudi Pro League looks like they're going to come back in for Darwin. Of course, in January, it didn't seem like the problem was price tag or anything like that. It did seem that the reason why the move didn't happen was simply because Liverpool could not get a replacement in the door on their list. Who is on Liverpool's list? I think 100% Alexander Isak is on that list. Again, whether or not Newcastle would want to sell, of course, they could demand £200 million in the summer. And again, I don't think anybody's going to be paying that at all. But again, Liverpool, I think if there's a conversation that Alexander Isak is involved in, I think Liverpool will 100% be in that conversation. I think with Dean Heisen as well from Bournemouth, of course, Liverpool's name getting mentioned with him today. Of course, obviously there's a £50 million release clause now in his contract for the summer transfer window. Again, I think Liverpool's will be all over that. Considering, again, he's been brilliant in the Premier League this season for Bournemouth. I think a £50 million price tag. Again, if Liverpool think it's the right player to go for, then 100% go and do it without a question asked, really. But I do think, Liverpool's summer, I don't think we're going to bring in, 6, 7 players. I think we are going to bring in 4 players that are quality. And I do believe that. I think Liverpool are going to bring in quality over quantity this summer, and I think the quality that we are looking for is first team players. And I mean, when I talk about first team players, of course, I'm talking about Alexander Isak. I'm talking about Joel Hato, for example, as well. If we need a winger, again, I do think Liverpool would look maybe even to Anthony Gordon and Nico Williams, for example, as well. But I think this summer Liverpool are going to go big. And look, we've all said this, haven't we, over the years, under Jurgen and under FSG, and gone, oh yeah, Liverpool will do, have a big summer. The famous words that the war chest that Liverpool supposedly have every summer. Anyway, I do think Liverpool will spend. But of course, it does depend on contracts. It does depend on who stays and who goes. I've said to you guys, I do think Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk does stay, but with Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's another question. That I, again, don't think Trent is going to stay. I do think he'll go to Real Madrid, but in terms of, again, that's a right back that we need looking at then. I do think just for striker, and judging if all three of them do re-sign the contracts, I do think Liverpool will go all out for Alexander Isak, because, again, the thought process, I think, might be sell Darwin Núñez and then go all in for the best you could possibly do, similar like we did with Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk was the clear best on the market and the clear best player for that. And I do think Liverpool are going to do the same thing, where we go all out for Alexander Isak and, again, go all out to try and hopefully, touch wood, retain the Premier League trophy if we do end up winning it this season as well. But that would be the statement that Arne Slot would, again, want or need, for example, as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised, though, if we did hear other names coming out in the next couple of weeks. Of course, obviously Joel Hato has been mentioned all summer long. Obviously, Dean Heisen now has been mentioned, obviously due to the release clause that came out yesterday from Romano as well. So I do think we'll hear things, off the cuff now, very quickly. But I do suspect Liverpool will go all out for Alexander Isak. And whether or not, that's 120, 130, 140 million pounds, again, that will be... we'll have to wait and see, whether or not that does mount up to that, or maybe Liverpool have another option on their list anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below anyway. But I'd be very intrigued to know your guys' thoughts as well anyway. But here it says, can't see us letting this... I wrote that one out, apologies. You think we can get in 7 players, question mark? That seems crazy, but look who we can potentially exchange. I don't think we're going to get 7 players. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we can get 7 players. Like, I think some people kind of expect that, as you said there. If we are in Football Manager, could you see a world where we change a left back, add a centre back, 2 add a right back, a DM, 2 right wingers, plus Núñez and Jota replacements as well? Yeah, exactly. You're never going to do that in the summer. I don't think I think Liverpool. Out of the 3, again, I know obviously James Pierce mentioned it, didn't he, in terms of, Luis Diaz could go and Diogo Jota could also go, and Darwin looks like he's gone already, Darwin. But I just think, I do think Darwin's the only one that's going to go. I don't think Luis Diaz is going to go. I think Liverpool are very happy with the options they have on the left, obviously having Cody. I think Cody now establishing himself on the left-hand side, I think, has just completely given Liverpool a new perspective of what they need in the summer. But again, would I be surprised if we did that? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't be too surprised if Liverpool went out and signed a new midfielder. The whole rumors about Warren Zaire-Emery, and obviously I think, was it Sam Maguire put out that Liverpool had looked at him, and when you actually compare him to Ryan Gravenberch, You know, it makes perfect sense why Liverpool would go for somebody like that. But is he available? No, 100% he's not. Like, we're talking probably 100 million just just for a conversation, let alone an actual transfer as well. But no, I don't think Liverpool are gonna do that anyway. But again, I think we'll be surprised this summer. I do. Um, but we'll have to wait and see. Why can't we do it since we got three with legs out of the door already? What do you mean, Hero? Well, Mo, Virgil, and Trent. I don't think Mo and Virgil are going. If I'm being honest, I generally don't. I think they sign. Um, it's Trent, the one for me. I think is gone. But again, you could 100% be right. And if Liverpool do let all three go, then of course that's three people you have to bring in the door straight away. Which then does make it seven transfers, to be fair. But if all of them resign, I only suspect Liverpool doing 4 deals in the summer. But yeah, I would agree with you with that. Like if Mo, Virgil, and Trent does leave, then yeah, Liverpool need to sign like 7, 8 players in January. In January, in the summer, sorry, as well. So yeah, you're 100% right with that. But in terms of, I do think 2 of the 3 will stay. You then go and sign 4 or 5 players, maybe, as well. But they're gonna leave it to the last days to sign. Jeez, let's be realistic here. I don't know. Maybe we might try and get a journal on to speak about it, because I do think, as you said, but why wouldn't they just announce it? Well, exactly. Why is it taking so long? Why? Look at PSG, right? PSG. What was it? 2 weeks ago, there was talks of Nuno Mendes going. There was talks of Hakimi going, and there was talks of somebody else was leaving. It might have been Kimpembe, or it might have been Marquinhos. It might be one of them. And there was talks of them 3 leaving in the summer, and then within a week, it wasn't even a week. I think it was like 4 or 5 days. Boom, boom, boom. Contracts just sorted out for them straight away. And when you look at that and you go, why can't Liverpool do that? Why can't we have conversations that just automatically get us, you know, get it done really? And when you look at that and you go, like, why can't Richard Hughes do this as well? But look, we could be here for days, couldn't we? Guessing that and guessing, why Richard Hughes does anything. Has he done anything behind the scenes? Really, I think that would be an interesting sign anyway. And I said it on social media. If them 3 do leave, by the way, then Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards deserves to be sacked, because I'm sorry, you're letting go. You're not talking about a Virgil. You're not talking about a Jordan Henderson now. You're talking about probably the best players that have played for Liverpool in the Premier League, bar Steven Gerrard, in terms of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk. And then you've got one of if not the best right back in world football in Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has been, dominant in that position for the last 6-7 years. Like fair enough. If he wants to go to Real Madrid, then fine. You can't change his mind with that. But at the minute, that's all we're hearing is, this player's not happy, this person's bossing in, this person's this person's that. I'm sorry, I just want them done. Because if Liverpool do lose, like for example, if Liverpool were to lose tomorrow and lose against Man City, you automatically know Monday morning that's all people are going to talk about is contracts. Look at when we played poor against United. And you're like, I said it, I said it to you guys, with Trent and the Real Madrid bid. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Trent now. Trent played and Trent was shit. Like, he was shite against Manchester United. And then everyone's like, oh, we gotta talk about contracts. We gotta talk about, why are they not playing great? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And that's what we're saying. And that's what's annoying as well, 100%. But big up Scousers are saying they sure don't look like guys who are leaving in training, etc. All smiles and having a laugh as well. Yeah, absolutely agree as well. Yeah, again, the only one for me is Trent. Trent is the only one who I am concerned about is going to leave because of Jude Bellingham, because of Real Madrid. If he wins another Premier League trophy, does Trent want to try and do something else in Spain? Obviously, he spoke about winning the Ballon d'Or. If Liverpool were to go on and win the Premier League and the Champions League, we all know who's winning the Ballon d'Or this year. If that was to be the case, it would be Mo Salah. Let's get that right to begin with. But again, where would Trent figure in that list? Again, I don't think Trent gets in top 5. And I think that's what I think the many people are having the conversation at the minute of what would it, obviously Trent spoke about his Indy in terms of winning a Ballon d'Or, and obviously that's something he wants to do, to be the first right back to ever do it. Why would what would it take Trent to be able to win the Ballon d'Or? In his mind is probably to go to Real Madrid, go on to score plenty of goals, assist plenty of goals, have big moments and big games. But realistically, everyone's going to be going for an Mbappe, a Vinny Jr. Like, if Real Madrid were to win, if they were to win the quadruple, if they were to win everything in Spain and win the Champions League, again, nobody is thinking of Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're straight away thinking of Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, Modric. Like, Trent isn't a thought process. Look at Dani Carvajal. Dani Carvajal won the league with Real Madrid, won the Champions League, won the Euros, and finished, what was it, 6th in the Ballon d'Or race? Was it 5th or 6th? Like, I just don't know what it would take realistically to get them to get him a Ballon d'Or, really. But when are we ringing the bell on these guys walking? March, April, May. End of March. To be fair, I've pulled it back so long. I would say if we don't hear any positive things in March, then yeah, then start to be concerned. I would say anyway. But it looks like Haaland, I'm sure, a dodgy tenure deal with loads of backhanders and loopholes. Contract can't be more complex than Mo, Virgil, and Trent. Hey, Scouts, you never know. I genuinely think they did that contract just for the Premier League because, again, the fact that the contract was 115 months and so on as well, and supposedly, certain things in that contract that was kind of, hinting at things, it was kind of a message, really. The fact that City spent 180 million in the summer, like, I do think that was just a whole, FU to the Premier League. Like, all right, you can investigate us for this, you can investigate us for that, but we're just going to do whatever we want. And I do think it was mainly that. But look, yeah, I would 100% agree with it. But look, Richard Hughes is making things hard, isn't he? But Hero says, I'm looking forward to change, to be honest. These guys who make contract news aren't worth keeping around. These contracts would have been signed 2 years ago. Give them to York's Practor. That'll be the best thing. Just enjoy while we have them. Yeah, 100%. And again, enjoy this season because, I think, we haven't really spoken about it much, but I think many people have kind of like, I don't know, took it a little bit for granted this season, what's happened. The fact that City have had a huge drop off, Arsenal haven't capitalised. Liverpool have stepped up to the plate under Arne Slot. A new manager, a new style, a new system, similar things. With obviously Jurgen and so on as well. But we haven't had. We're not playing the same football that we was 12 months ago. We're playing a more methodical way of playing, obviously control and build up, for example, as well. That I don't think people give Arne Slot enough praise. The fact that everyone's like, oh, Liverpool are top of the league, this, that, and the other. Even some people going, oh, it doesn't feel like we're in a title race. It 100% feels like we're in a title race. But it doesn't feel, we don't feel as anxious as what we did, going back 5 years ago or going back, in the 18-19 season when, we literally lost one game and an entire season and didn't win the Premier League trophy. We went and, somehow Liverpool went, all right, we're going to get 97 points and win a Champions League, but we didn't win a Premier League that year with having 97 points. And people go, oh, Liverpool bottled that league. You can't bottle that league. Like, look, City were excellent that season. Liverpool were excellent that season. And the fact that, people go, oh, even now, like, oh, it doesn't feel like we're in a title, right? It 100% does. Just doesn't feel like we have to win every single game, and every point drop feels like a total, disaster. Like against Everton, for example, like that felt horrific because of what happened after towards the end of the game and what happened around the circumstances of the game. But, calming down and thinking about the game, again, Liverpool extended their gap at the top. We went 7 points clear instead of 6. And that's the thing when you look at it and go, like, again, Liverpool might lose another game this season. Arsenal, I think, will definitely lose a game this season. But again, we're not having to go on a 14, 15, 16, winning streak. It's not about being unbeaten and being, undefeated. Like, look, Liverpool have been undefeated now in the Premier League for what, 20-something games? Arsenal, I think, have been there for 15 games. But the fact that Liverpool, again, we've had to go 16 games on the bounce to be in the contention for winning the league, let alone actually winning the league. This year, you don't have to do that. I think people just don't really feel the same as what they did probably 5 years ago. But at the end of the day, I would say enjoy this season because, again, who knows what will happen? With Mo potentially going, Virgil, as well. But just enjoy this title run, this title challenge, as well, and hopefully Liverpool will come at the end of it Premier League winners, as well. But remember Torres, lol, Warren CYT, such a stud, that guy as well, knocking Vidic around as well. I loved Fernando Torres. You know what, I don't know about anybody else, but you kind of forgive him now. No, not forgive him because he joined Chelsea. Hate him for that part. But now, even when we speak about Torres, don't hate Fernando Torres. Because probably now looking at it, Liverpool got rid of him at the perfect time. But like prime Fernando Torres at Liverpool, that was special player. To be fair, but I started feeling it a bit before Wolves got it now with Villa just scares from last year. But difference is City are not one behind us. Yeah, exactly, 100%. More breathing space is good. Good thing it's how you manage each opponent as well. Yeah, absolutely. As well. It was the best thing. He went. We just replaced him with a horse. Yes, we did. Well, to be fair, I'd like to say that we replaced him with Luis Suarez. I like to acknowledge that. We replaced Ryan Babel with Andy Carroll. If you want to say that. I always like to say that we replaced Fernando Torres with Luis Suarez, but you know what? Let's just leave it there. Let's not remember the fact that Andy Carroll was Liverpool's top transfer of all time for a big period of Liverpool's history. Oh, Jesus Christ. The fact that we spent 35 million on Andy Carroll. Jesus Christ. Like, do we even know what Andy Carroll's best game ever was for Liverpool? Just trying to think. FA Cup games, probably. Yeah. No, Carroll looked amazing against us. Yeah, though. Yeah, absolutely. Did we play him at St James's Park and he battered us for 90 minutes? I think that's what won us. I think that's what made us go for him. But yeah, that was awful at the time. But then again, we signed an absolute at that period of time. We signed absolute maze, didn't we? It was like we either signed really good players or really bad players. It was never in between at that time for Liverpool. Because you think about it, you had Suarez, Maxi Rodriguez as well. Like Maxi Rodriguez is such a cult hero. I loved Maxi Rodriguez. Scored, was it 3 hat tricks for Liverpool while he was here? Like again, I loved Maxi Rodriguez at Liverpool, but who thinks Babel was any good? Brian Babel wasn't good. He has spoke about it a couple of times. Maybe we might try and see if we can get him on you. Maybe because I know he does accept like podcasts from people as well. So maybe we might get him on if we could. But yeah, like Ryan Babel was unlucky, though, wasn't he? He was terrible, but again, you at that time, who was playing left midfield for Liverpool at the time? Was it between him and Alberto Riera at the time for Liverpool? Like that, like yeah, because we were playing like 4-4-1, playing 4-4-1-1, wasn't we? Where we had, what was it, Riera on the left, Dirk Kuyt on the right, Alonso and Mascherano in the double pivot, Gerrard as the 10 or false striker, Torres up top, Carragher, Hippie. Like we literally went away to Newcastle. I remember this game so clearly. Went to Newcastle and played four centre halves. We played Carragher right back. We played Hippier. We played Skirtle, and we played Daniel Agger at left back. Like that, genuinely, like childhood, just in one nutshell. Just genuinely, that game in particular. I just remember Shea Given having an absolute nightmare with Steven Gerrard, which was funny, to be fair. But happy days in as well. But evening, mate. Hopefully doing well as well as evening. But yeah, absolutely. Like again, that was just childhood in a memory anyway. But no, like going on to starting line predictions then, of course, for the Villa game, of course, because we talked about rotation for the game. I do think Liverpool will rotate a little bit. I don't think we're going to fully, completely change 180, but I do think, obviously it'll be Alisson in goal. Right back will be Trent. The centre halves, Kanate and Van Dijk. Left back, do you go Costas? Probably. I would agree. From earlier on, I would agree that I think Costas will be a left back. I do think McAllister will be in the six. I don't actually. No, I don't. I think Endo will be in the six for Liverpool because Ryan Gravenberch looked knackered against against Wolves. He looked very very tired. So I think Endo will be in the six. I think it will be Curtis Jones in the other six. So I think Maka and Gravenberch gets rested. And I'm going to go Dom Szoboszlai. I think, again, Liverpool. Jesus Christ. I've just seen Heroes comment. Yes, I'm going to go Curtis Jones, Endo, and Dom Szoboszlai. And then the front three for me would be Mo Salah, Luis Diaz, and of course, Darwin Núñez, because obviously we did have the news today, didn't we? That Cody Gakpo is out injured. Again, he will miss this game, but he should be back against Man City. Hopefully. Anyway, of course, Arne Slot did say hopefully. As well, obviously, the bad news, obviously, Joe Gomez as well. Looks like he's going to be out nearly till the end of the season. Of course, with that hamstring problem, which is a shame. Again, of course, but look, I do think, obviously, Konza, he looks to be back in form as well. So hopefully from now until the end of the season, we'll only need, Virgil van Dijk, Ibu Kanate, and of course, Joel Konza. Of course, you could play with Wataru Endo there if you needed to, but I do suspect, again, hopefully, Liverpool might look into the market for a centre back, obviously, with Joe Gomez being out injured as well. Anyway, but again, it's a shame that again he is going to miss a big chunk now of the season as well, with that reoccurring injury as well, which is a shame as well, because I think Joe Gomez this season, when he has been called upon, has been quite decent for Liverpool as well. But here it says Gerrard was so frustrated with him. It looks like he was 2 or 3 times the player as well. Two or three Barbos or one Gerrard. Yeah, you take half of Steven Gerrard now, to be fair. But it's good to remember the past teams in order to properly appreciate the current. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think this is what made, obviously, like, I'm young, I'm 25, but like I think people that are obviously around like 40, 50, like obviously they would experience properly, like, you know, maybe the back end of the 80s, obviously the full 90s, and obviously, you know, 2000s, for example. But, you know, that 2010 team, like from what, probably the end of 2009 to about what, 2013 was horrific, you know, for Liverpool. It was really bad, wasn't it? But you just appreciate, you know, the last, what, 9 years with Jurgen, and now going into the new era with Arne Slot and where we are at the moment, and witnessing Liverpool play. You know, you look at that and you go, you know, wow, you know, and witness how great we actually are, as well. So yeah, absolutely. Over halfway. To over halfway to three figures. How about that as well? To be fair, like, again, I know plenty of people that are, you know, I've got, you know, I know people that are like, you know, 50, 60, and they go like I know people that support like other clubs as well, like obviously Evertonians, you know, Manx as well, unfortunately, in the family. That again, they remember, you know, their time, for example, and you listen to them. Like United fans, like now, are having the experience of what we had in probably the 90s and even the 2010s as well, where we were crap. Yeah, we were crap. But now it's nice to see them being crap and we're actually quite boss, at football, which is nice to see anyway. But yeah, it's great, to be fair. But the Manx at 50, remember the good times, lol. Yeah, absolutely. Did Kenny only get 1 year with Carroll? Maybe that was it. It was Kenny's vision, and when we finished eighth, and they let him go, it was all forgotten. I'm trying to think. It was a year and a half, wasn't it, that he had with Andy Carroll? Because he brought in Suarez, he brought in Carroll, because yeah, he was brought in for Roy Hodgson, wasn't he? So he had half a season, and then had the full season where we won the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, yeah. So we had that, and then obviously Kenny left, Brendan Rodgers come in, and then obviously, you know, like, he was instantly not a part of Brendan Rodgers' squad. I don't think, did Andy Carroll ever play for Brendan Rodgers? Like, I know pre-season he did, but I just picture him in a West Ham kit whenever I think of Brendan Rodgers Liverpool. I never see Andy Carroll in a Liverpool kit. Like, I remember seeing it in pre-season, but never seeing him actually play for Liverpool for Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll played for Liverpool anyway, but let me know. But yeah, it'd be interesting. And now they get Swift. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. We almost got the FA2, didn't we? Yeah. If it wasn't for, well, if goal line technology was a thing, Andy Carroll would have friggin' scored for Liverpool. You know, obviously that Petr Cech save, wasn't it? But yeah, it's you know, the fact we nearly won a cup double last season. Jesus Christ. But you look at Luis Suarez that season, and you even look at Luis Suarez that come back in 13-14, like 13-14 Luis Suarez, I will still say it is probably the best individual season of all time. Like him, Gerrard, Sturridge. Obviously, you've got a young Coutinho, you've got Hendo, you've got you know, other players around the team. Obviously, Raheem Sterling as well, who broke through in that season. But Luis Suarez genuinely nearly got Liverpool a league title. You know, that was like that. When you think about it, that is what, 11 odd years ago now. Like the 13, well, it is 11 years ago, the 13-14 season. Yeah, like that's, Jesus Christ, time flies. Football is ever evolving. Probably best stick to younger managers. Well, to be fair, just get on FM, get on FM, and just do whatever you want on there. To be fair, I can't believe it. That was long ago. Yeah, unbelievable. Suarez or Torres then? Who would I prefer, Suarez or Torres? Suarez. For me personally, when people talk about Ronaldo and Messi, the third best in the generation we've just had, the third best is Luis Suarez. I would say that anyway. I think Luis Suarez, again, he won 2 Golden Boots in that era. I think Suarez, if he'd stayed in the Premier League longer, I think would be in contention for Premier League team of all time as well. I thought he was an unbelievable player. I've always said it. Like, I think Suarez for me is behind Ronaldo and Messi. Messi and Ronaldo, I should say, because Messi is the GOAT. Messi is the GOAT. It's not Ronaldo. But yeah, Suarez, 100% I'd put third in that list. Torres makes you great. Suarez makes you elite. Yeah, 100% agree with that. To be fair, though, if you could get longevity-wise, if you could get probably 2009 Fernando Torres, or maybe 2008 Fernando Torres, that season again, he was so good. But yeah, absolutely 100%. But going back to, of course, Villa and Liverpool, score prediction for me, I'm gonna go. What am I going to go with? I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think it'll be close. It'll be tight. Even with their injuries, obviously Liverpool need to get start tomorrow's game on the front foot. We need to again a great performance tomorrow to be a very good Villa side as well. Like, you look at last season, like Liverpool were 3-1 up against Villa, and we ended up conceding 2 late goals, wasn't it? As well, which again ultimately it ended Liverpool's title run last season. But I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool. I'm gonna go with Mo Salah, and I'm gonna go for a Virgil van Dijk goal as well. I think we'll get a goal off a set piece, which is rare for Liverpool this season. Anyway, but he's gone with 2-1 as well. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. It'll be close. Again, if Villa get an early goal, again, Liverpool have a mountain to climb then as well. So, look, again, if we get 2-1, I'll take that all day. Or even a 1-0, I'd run away with it personally anyway. But yeah, absolutely. Hope Liverpool get the 3 points tomorrow anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed as well. That is it for our match preview show for Liverpool and Aston Villa v Liverpool. Of course, we'll be live tomorrow, straight after the footy, for the post-match reaction as well. So that will be up for it as well. Of course, make sure you are tuned to the channel as well, because there will be. I'm trying to clip up stuff from the show that turns into videos, so make sure you are tuned into that as well, because that will be up on the channel at some point as well, with things we've spoken about tonight, of course. But yeah, of course, let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, in the comments. But Scout says, and if we draw the game, so be it. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, absolutely not. Let's ruin the villains as well. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if you are new around here, of course, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. It does very much help out the channel, as always, of course, anyway. But until tomorrow, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the post-match reaction, with hopefully Liverpool beating Aston Villa anyway. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.